Just got done ordering another gas mask canister. These things are expensive. They're price gouging it now. Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the effects that the Ukrainian-Russian war, I want to say Russian invasion, what effects does it have on United States private security? And initially, in the beginning of the day, I was thinking about some reasons on how it can affect private security, and I couldn't find any, so I didn't film anything. And then throughout the day, I started to think, you know what, there are some factors that can have a drastic effect on private security, and I want to discuss those factors today. So number one is in California, at least, we got a major blow on our training requirements as private security. Christopher Holden drafted out a bill, and I believe it was signed by Gavin Newsom. I'm going to have to confirm this. And I think it's AB 229. And basically what he did was remove the weapons of mass destruction requirement as part of the guard cart training. So it used to be 4 hours of powers to arrest training in California to get your security guard registration. And then on top of that, you have 4 hours of weapons of mass destruction. Well, he got rid of that requirement. Now, weapons of mass destruction is now, that's an elective, if my memory serves me correct. And I need to see what the effective date is, and I need to reacquaint myself with that assembly bill. But in essence, the weapons of mass destruction training, it's gone. It's not a requirement anymore. And unless you incentivize yourself to get that level of training, you're not going to get it. They've also had an awesome video, the BSIS website on weapons of mass destruction. It's an older video. I think it was made in 2004 or 5. It shows a terrorist planning an attack on a transit line in Singapore. But anyhow, that training, it was awesome. There was even a roundtable discussion with all the security guard applicants, and we had to name different spots in our area that were prone to terrorist attack. I was watching the news today, earlier this morning, and apparently Russia has, I want to say, unveiled some veiled threats. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. They've made some veiled threats about attacking our grid, and that's amounts of power grid. That includes water, power, electricity. Well, as private security applicants, we had to have a discussion with our instructor on what areas are vulnerable, and we talked about power plants, we talked about our rivers, our reservoirs, but now there's no more discussion of that because that class it's only an elective now. People you don't have to get that training anymore. On top of that, the way that security, the way that law enforcement does their job, and the way that they use force, there's some serious repercussions on the restrictions that was placed. So now there's no more carotid holds. Those of you who are not familiar with law enforcement or security procedures or martial arts training, that technique is better known as the choke hold. Even though you're not choking anybody, you can't use it anymore in law enforcement. And that prevented a lot of violent attacks on law enforcement, even the people that they're trying to protect. That puts somebody out of the fight really quickly with the least amount of physical violence on that subject. They go down really quick, and not too many people die as a result from that. So if you're in a life and death struggle, if you're a law enforcement officer, you better resort to your firearm or knife, because you can't resort to the carotid, which makes no sense. A lot of these restrictions on law enforcement they're demoralizing the police. There's other laws that came out with personnel records. There's so much demoralization at the police department, and there's defunding of the police departments, that morale is at all-time low. We can't have law enforcement at an all-time low, especially now because of this Ukrainian and Russian war. And some people might say, well, that has nothing to do with America. No, Russia sees these vulnerabilities, and all these other countries that don't like us, they see these vulnerabilities. So if you demoralize the police, okay, they're not going to be proactive. And by the way, um, let's see, first line supervisor school, which is basically sergeant school. It's an 80-hour course. I took that in San Diego in '07. And one of my classmates actually pulled over one of the to-be 9/11 hijackers on his campus. And he talked about it, and I believe he got he gave him a citation or something like that. He pulled him over. But it's because and he was able to, I mean, later on they tied back the stop to his stop. But that's a proactive stop. And that stop that he made helped identify other people that were involved in the 9/11 hijackings. But what I'm trying to say is that that enthusiasm that law enforcement had to be proactive, that a lot of that's gone. So all these countries that don't like us, they see that vulnerability. Number two, once you get a demoralization of the military, including law enforcement, you really don't have much of a fighting force. And it's really interesting to see what happens in Ukraine, because you have Russian troops. If they don't, and they're going to be going hand-to-hand combat with the Ukrainians. If they don't believe in their objectives, they're not going to fight as hard. Ukrainians, on the other hand, if it's ground-to-ground fighting, that's their homeland. They're going to fight to the death. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's the way that they most likely will choose. And they're going to fight harder than the Russians. I mean, what do you get if you're Russian? You get Ukraine? If you're in the military? I mean, you already have what you need in your own country. So you have those barriers, you have those vulnerabilities. Now going back to security, less trained security professionals. Now you could take all your 40 hours of training in essence, in California at least, online, and technically some online schools you can complete everything in an hour, 4 hours. You just have to keep clicking the buttons. There's nobody monitoring how fast you complete those courses. I won't tell you about some of the conversation I've had with some people that I know that are in important places. At BSIS, I don't disclose who I know, and I'm not the person who's going to go on film and say, oh, I know this person, I know that person. I'm not going to tell you. But I'm just telling you because I'm not disclosing anybody, because I don't want you guys, I don't want to burn my contacts is what I'm trying to say. But there's schools out there that are doing that. And by the way, this is a good contact. He's a good person. There's schools out there that are doing that. So for 40 hours of training, you could just have an instructor sign a waive. Maybe it takes an hour of training. We're less trained. We're less observe and report trainers. You know the saying, observe and report? Well, that's almost out the door, because that training that we used to attend in person was probably a lot more valuable. Now, I'm not to say that online training is not valuable. I'm actually creating some online courses. It just depends on the training vendor. But the in-person training, if it's done properly, seems to be a better way for a lot of people to learn. It's not as convenient, but most of the time, for some people, I mean, for a lot of people, it seems to be effective if the instructor is doing it right. So let's get that out of the way. Next is equipment. So this is the MSA. This is for a C. This is for Advantage P100 mask. This is a very popular mask for law enforcement, and I'm not sure military uses it, but this is very popular. You guys, one of these canisters at the break of COVID, they were price gouging these things. $175 for a brand new one. I have a contact at Grainer, and this person also told me, Sean, I can't help you out. There's nothing. There's nothing available. Everything is gone. I found some online. People are selling their stash. I got a brand new canister that is 15 years old for about $40 for one canister. Even the expired canisters are selling out. So lesson learned. Okay, I made a huge mistake. When things are calm, that's when you buy your stuff. Okay, but right now, this is what people are looking at right now. And I'm not getting this because I believe that there's going to be a chemical attack from Russia. I need these because I want to go to chemical agent instructor school. I already went to one chemical agent instructor school. It was just for OC, but I want to do one for actual gas. But now I can't. I mean, I can risk this used one. It's been out of the package for about a year and a half. But the problem is if I'm exposed to CS gas, it's not gonna. You guys that are military, former law enforcement, or those of you that've been exposed to CS gas, this is no joke. This is no joke. So I've kept this out of its packaging. My mistake. So I don't know how effective this is. And this is also an expired mask. The law enforcement agency that I work with, they issue like 5 or 6 year expired canisters as well. Now I bought about 3 different canisters. When COVID started, I lost them all, you guys. I mean, stupid me. Anyhow, those are price gouge. Get them while you can. Okay, so gas prices are going to go up for sure. Make sure that you budget appropriately, especially because of the pipeline. Keep a full gas tank, not because Russia's going to attack the United States, but because people freak out during these wars and they use up as much gas as they can. They try to have full gas tanks, and then they end up getting buying these extra gas tank or gas tank containers and then filling up. People just go crazy. Your food supplies, your canned supplies, people are going to price gouge as well, and those are going to be, a lot of those things are going to be out of stock. So get them while you can, not because something's going to happen to us, but because those things they're not going to be available because people freak out during these incidents. Ammunition, if you're armed firearm, if you have an armed firearm permit, you guys, I don't think right now is the time to get ammunition. Prices are probably up the roof. Limited stock. Just wait a little bit and then restock again. I still have my stock from when California basically, I want to say, outlawed in-person purchases without a background check. I still have my pile from, I don't know, was it 7 years ago, maybe 8? Anyhow, I still have my stash. Firearms, you're gonna have problems getting those too. People again freak out during that time period. So when this passes, get your firearms as well. Body armor, all these things are going to be a high price. There's going to be more of a demand for that. You guys, as for the crime that is out there, crime is out of control right now. I have not done a video yet on how this is going to affect private security. Well, I touch on it a little bit. But when you compound crime with the Ukrainian-Russian crisis, you have criminals out there that think that they can get away with everything because there's a war in the other side of the world, and Americans are distracted. So you might have an increase in crime, especially violent crime as well. So be very careful out there. Be aware of your surroundings. I will tell you one thing, that during 9/11, right after that, crime actually sank, and it's strange. I don't know if the criminals felt a sentiment, felt sentimental because of what happened. Maybe, but it seemed like we were all united at that time against a common enemy. Even the criminals, you guys, they felt like we were attacked, by them. We were a lot more united than before. So I don't know if crime will go up. I think I would expect for it to go up because of how things are right now, especially the no bail laws that are out there, the catch and release. It just becomes a cocktail disaster for those of you who are in private security. Let me know what you guys are doing to prepare for this, for the aftermath or during this time of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Let me just know what you guys' thoughts are. Are you guys taking the same precautions, or is just everything just going normal as possible? Oh, I forgot. Take cash out, store it somewhere. If you believe in cryptocurrency like I do, you could store it on a disk, and if the banking system ever shuts down, as long as you have internet, that you have access to cryptocurrency. And I'm prepared. I'm prepared for maybe about a week of chaos. Should be prepared for more. But let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this. What are you doing to prepare? Are you just, is everything status quo? Let me know. Take care.